What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the SUGO Fest for King and Queen. I'm going to make a video. I don't know which one's coming out first, but I have made a video already talking about the SUGO Fest batch as a whole. And if you guys want to check that out, go check out the other video, of course. And now we're going to be talking about the actual SUGO Fest structure and see what's going on and are the steps overly worth it, and just what is happening, okay? Because there isn't a lot of information right now, but because of the steps, we can kind of take information from the Japan side of things this time around. So, first thing is first, I must say, the logo for this SUGO Fest is amazing. A big fan of the logo. I think it looks so good. But this SUGO Fest is going to be split into 3 separate parts. We have part 1, where you've got King and Queen available. You've got part 2, where King is going to be the available legend, and then you've got Queen on part 3. Now, unfortunately, not really a big fan of this one. This SUGO Fest will begin on October 26th at 1900 PST time. However, part 2 is going to be available on the 28th, 1900 PST time, and then part 3 is going to be available on October 30th at 1900 PST time. So we have 48 hours between each part of the SUGO Fest beginning. Not a fan of that at all. I really dislike that, because if someone has a certain legend that they really want to pull for and it's on part 3, they literally have to wait, like, what is that, like 96 hours to get to that certain part of the SUGO Fest that they really want to get to? Like, that's just stupid. Like, I would be fine. Okay, you know, if you want to have part 1 for the first day, that's fine, but both other parts should be available at least 24 hours after the event has begun, right? That's just one part of the SUGO Fest already that I'm not a big fan of. All parts of the SUGO Fest should be available much quicker than the way that this particular event has been structured thus far. Not a fan of that at all. That's just terrible. But let's actually talk about the SUGO Fest structure. What's actually happening this time around, okay? So for this SUGO Fest, it's going to be a 10% chance to get a red poster. Now, that automatically means that there's going to be more available legends than what a typical SUGO Fest would have, okay? Typically, if it's a 5% red rate, means you're going to get 10 available legends on a banner. Now, that would also mean, you would think, you know, if it's just doubling the red rate, they should just double the amount of legends that are going to be on the banner. You would think that. However, on part 1 of this SUGO Fest, according to the JP SUGO Fest, I believe there are 30 available legends on part 1. So it dilutes the chance of you getting any particular red that is available on part 1 by a pretty substantial portion. So I believe on parts 2 and on parts 3, also still being a 10% chance to get a red, it's going to be, you know, 20 available legends, I believe it's 20 available legends on part 3 and part 2 of the SUGO Fest. So it's going to be a lot easier to get any particular unit that you want on parts 2 and part 3, but the steps also do change along the way as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the steps. So this is part 1 of the SUGO Fest, debuting on the 26th of October. We've got a 30 gem multi on the first multi, which is, you know, pretty stock standard. I love to see that there's 30 gem multis. Then we've got a guaranteed legend or rate boost on the second step. You love to see it, man. Then you've got a guaranteed legend on the third multi, so nothing special. Again, what should we even call these steps? Fake steps? Fake step on step 4, fake step on step 5, but then on the 6th multi, you get a limited pool legend. Now, I don't know how many legends are available on this limited pool step. I would guess it would be like 15, right? Not really too sure, man. Even if they cut it down to like 10 available legends for the limited pool, so it's a 1% chance to get any particular red, I think that would also be pretty interesting if they did that. Not too sure right now, but it's a limited pool legend on step 6 there. Then you've got a fake step, legend, then a super limited step on multi 10. Not too sure how many reds are available on the super limited step. That might be the one where they only have 10 legends available. Who knows, right? Could be 8 legends. I really don't know how that's going to be played out. But 10 multis deep just for that. I mean, this SUGO Fest structure already, just with how many of these steps where it's legend or rate boost, are just terrible, man. Like, this is already like giving red flags, okay? And then you got fake step, legend, fake step, limited pool once again, and it's just kind of cycling through. You get another super limited pool on the 20th, but then on the 25th multi, it's another super limited pool. Even if you go all the way on part 1, you're not even guaranteed to get King or Queen, which is stupid. Like, if you go to 25 multis, you should be guaranteed to get one of the 2, right? Like, what? And why are they not doing that? That's so dumb. Like, people are going 25 multis deep as if they're not getting one of them. That's just dumb. But then we move on to step 2 and step 3. So for these SUGO Fest parts, it is a little bit different because you do see that step 6 does no longer have like a limited pool legend. But you know, you do see a limited pool legend on multi 10. So it really sucks because you get the best multi on this SUGO is multi 6 on part 1. And you don't get access to that on parts 2 or part 3. So I'm not really a big fan of that at all. But, you know, if you do really want one of these units for some reason, I mean, I don't recommend doing, like, crazy amounts of pulls on these particular SUGO Fests. But if you do really want these units, you have to go all the way to the 30th multi to get King. And then obviously the 30th multi here to get Queen on his given part as well. And remember, if you really want Queen that badly, you still have to wait 96 hours after the SUGO Fest has begun to even get him guaranteed. So, I mean, with everything that's been said so far, man, this is already giving huge red flags for this SUGO. I do not recommend pulling on this SUGO Fest, of course. You know, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year at this point. We don't know what's releasing or when it's releasing, right? We don't know when Yamato's coming out. Is Yamato coming out before the New Year? Is it going to be on New Year's? Is it going to be after the New Year's? What's the New Year's legend going to be? Or New Year's legends, if there's multiple of them? Like, we just don't know what's happening at this point. Plus, we do know, you know, in December is when Global is supposed to start the sync process, okay? Of, you know, Global catching up to the Japan content. Or how that's even going to work, we still don't know. I just think that there's too many unknowns right now to warrant even risking pulling on this SUGO Fest. I just think these regular batch SUGO Fests are not the way to go moving forward. Obviously, new batch SUGO Fests are the best chance to get the debuting rare recruits because we've seen with the Whitebeard versus Shank SUGO Fest, if you pulled on that SUGO Fest to get the rare recruits, yeah, it wasn't that bad to get the rare recruits in terms of the rates. And we saw that, you know, the rare recruits were very good for that treasure map, and those characters weren't even featured on the treasure map SUGO Fest. So, you know, if you really want the rare recruits, yeah, debut SUGOs are really good for that. But I've already talked about them in another video, talking about, like, are these rare recruits even good? And they're not. These are probably one of the worst rare recruit batches that we've seen in the entire year, and I'm not even kidding about that. And just because of that, and everything about the SUGO Fest, why even pull at this point? Now, yes, I will be pulling for content. I'm pulling so you guys don't have to. Now, I'm not going to be doing a crazy amount of multis, right? I think multi 6 on part 1 has me enticed enough to potentially go for it because, you know, I don't have King, I don't have Queen. Obviously, no one does. And if you want to get either one of them, the chances to get either one of them on part 1 is higher than getting just a single one of them on their own part, okay? And I'm a big fan of either of them. I don't care which one I get. I would love to have either King or Queen. They're both amazing in my eyes. So, personally, I'm going to be going to the 6th step of part 1 of the SUGO Fest. But of course, if you only really want like one specific legend, then yeah, you'd probably want to wait to see when it's going to be available, or just skip the SUGO Fest altogether, see what the Treasure Map SUGO Fest is going to be in November, see what the Kizuna SUGO Fest is going to be in November, because remember, we do know that Toki is going to be releasing in November. Also, the Super Type Straw Hat character unit is going to be debuting in November as well. There's a lot of good legends coming out soon, and is it worth spending the gems here rather than potentially going on the Toki banner where one of these two may be featured, or another legend that you don't have may be featured? Ace and Sabo, Fire Tank Pirates are going to be on that banner as well. So many good legends coming out, right? Yamato, we don't know when that's coming out, right? At this point, I just do not see a reason for the average player to be pulling on this particular banner. Now, if you are the type of player that spends money on the game, you do you, man. You do you. But I'm just saying, I would recommend most players here to just avoid this SUGO Fest altogether. That's what I would suggest. But, of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. What do you think about the SUGO Fest? I'm not a big fan of it. I really wish that some of those rate boosted or legend steps were just cut altogether and replaced with something else. I think what they should be doing for new batch SUGO Fest to entice more players into pulling on them is like every 4th multi be a 1-gem multi, or every 4th multi be a guaranteed new character, or every 5th multi be a guaranteed new character. Something like that to just entice the players to potentially pull more on these banners, because at the moment, these banners suck and are definitely the worst banners that we have in the game right now. Like, why would you pull on these new batch SUGO Fest that are so expensive and just have a higher chance of pulling garbage? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense in my eyes. But that is going to wrap it up for me, guys. I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video today. And if you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, then make sure to go ahead and subscribe. But on that, guys, I will go ahead and see you guys within the next video.